All right, this is a very focused video. This is only handler switches. There's not a lot of commentary. A lot of these clips are less than 10 seconds. It's just 17 handler switch clips. So that seems like a lot. Why are there just 17 very basic handler switch clips in here? I think the goal of this video is to, number one, everybody knows, you walk away from this video knowing what a handler switch is, and then you are able to generate your own mental picture of a handler switch. You're able to like close your eyes and just in your head visualize what a handler switch is. And then hopefully with that mental image, you are able to like understand under pressure what people are asking of you, right? So when we're at a tournament and Trevor says, "Oh, switch that handler," or Levi is on the field with you and Levi is yelling at you to switch with me, under that pressure, you are able to lean on the mental image you have of what a handler switch is. You're able to lean on that mental image and create a handler switch under pressure on the field, right? What I really want to avoid is like Trevor says to you at a tournament, "Hey, switch that handler," and you look at Trevor and you say, "What's a handler switch?" So I'm trying to avoid that situation altogether. Here's 17 clips of handler switches so that you can build a mental picture of a handler switch that you can use under pressure in games when we need them. Things you're gonna like, I would just say themes, really key themes of um, what makes a good handler switch. There's a lot of communication here. In all of these clips, you're going to see eye contact, you're going to see body language, right? Like they're opening up their hips, they're setting their hips and their chests so that they can see each other. The two defenders is what I'm talking about. So the two defenders can see each other. You're going to see pointing. Somebody's going to raise their hand and point. You're also going to see them talking to each other, yelling. You're going to see a lot of footwork in the handler space. Handler switching, shuffling becomes like huge. So downfield switches, you don't see so much shuffling, but in these handler space switches, just tons and tons of shuffling all over the place. And then I really want people to pay attention to the way the defenders position themselves, right? Think about the orbit. You know, theoretically, there's 360 positions that you could line up on against your person. But more realistically, there's only like 8 positions, and I can draw them out really quick so that people can help think about, help picture. So here's your person, right? This is their person. And let's say like this is the orbit that you can be on around that person. So you could line up here on them. You could line up here. You could line up here. You could line up here. So this is what I mean by like realistically there's 8 spots. In theory there's 360 spots. In theory there's an infinite number of spots. So pay attention to the positioning. Which spot on the orbit do they choose to go to? And then I think the last piece I want everyone paying attention to, how long do these switches take? You know, when the switch is over, are they on their person or are they now floating in space guarding no one? Before the switch happens, are they on a person or are they just floating in space guarding no one? So how long does it take to go from on a person into the switch and then finish the switch and be back on a person? So I want people thinking about that as you look at all these clips. We're going to let this clip roll a little bit as the machine works to the other sideline. And here they're going to settle into their reset. So the switch you're about to see, these two defenders, number 9 and number 2, are going to be switching on this player and number 55 right here. We're going to let this roll a little bit. Bravo is stuck on the trap side here, working through their reset system. And now we're going to see machines switch this. So this machine defender and this machine defender are switching on this Bravo player and this Bravo player. I think there's 3 switches in here. We're going to let this roll for a little bit. And here is where we're going to start to see some stuff. So 47, so this Bravo defender 47 and this Bravo defender are about to switch probably 3 times against this machine player and this machine player. So you can see a number of switches here as they're just rolling everything. So there's one. We'll watch it happen again here. 47's pointing out the switch. And here's the last one. 47 again rolling. We're going to let this roll a little bit here. So the switch is going to happen right in here. These two Bravo defenders, 1 and 2, will be switching on these 2 machine players right here. And there's the switch. Machine's going to push this ball to the wide side. Here's a flat mark. The switch is happening with these 2 players. So these 2 Bravo defenders are going to be switching on these 2 machine players. This looks a lot like our birdhouse. These 2 Bravo defenders right here and here are going to be switching on these 2 machine players right here. Go back for just a second and pay attention to how Bravo chooses to not switch this here. So I think a lot of teams get really switch happy, and all of a sudden it's like, well, everybody has to switch everything. So a lot of people would have thought about switching this and then bringing this guy here. But Bravo just gets on in this moment, right? So they are choosing times to just get up on a person and defend them throughout their cut. The switch is going to happen between this Bravo defender here and this Bravo defender here, and they are switching these 2 machine players. All right, so the key here is to watch this Bravo defender and this Bravo defender do a number of switches. This player will be involved and this player will be involved. So let this roll here. There's the first switch. Pay attention to how they choose to not switch this, right? Some teams would think about switching that, but Bravo sticks this one. Pay attention to how Bravo sticks this one too. A lot of teams would have switched that. We'll go back really quick. A lot of teams would have thought about switching here. Bravo chose to stick. And now they're switching that. So here, they switch from here to there. Boom. We'll be watching a switch from the machine defenders. This machine defender and this machine defender are going to end up switching these 2 players. We're going to have to let it roll a little bit here. The switch is going to come now. So the next throw they'll be switching. This player goes out into the lane. And here's the switch. And now this is blown coverage. This defender they weren't able to communicate this very well, so this defender is not feeling very confident in what he's supposed to do, and that's a blown assignment right there. And Bravo is able to exploit it because good throwers can exploit mistakes. Goal line set here for machine. Bravo is going to be switching in the goal line. This defender and this defender are switching this machine player, and then there's a machine player who's going to come off screen over here and fill this space. 47 loves to switch. He does it all the time. If you go watch some Bravo film, you can just watch him do switches all day long. Bravo's on defense here. They are switching this defender and this defender are switching on this player and this player. Great communication from 81 in this example. We're going to need to let this roll a bit, but eventually the switches, this Bravo defender and this Bravo defender right here are switching on this player and this player. We can see the switch is about to happen right now. See a couple switches in this one, so the first one to pay attention to is going to be this defender and this defender trying to switch on this player and this player. Truck is in a bit of a loose defense here, so there's that first switch. Truck's in a bit of a loose defense here, so they've let Ring of Fire just have somebody wide open, unguarded here. So this defender hiding behind this person and number 3 here are going to work together. They're going to work together to cover 25 and this player who's going to hit the disc. So there's the next switch. So then this is the frame that I really like to look at, because here's our 3 defenders that were involved in a switch, right? This guy, and this guy, and they're all just on a person now, right? So they're not floating around emptily in space with no purpose. They just had a whole bunch of switches and now they're all on a person. Let this one roll. I labeled this as a bad switch. So here, Ring of Fire's in the end zone set. Truck's trying to play some end zone defense. These 2 players have an eye line on each other. They should be looking at each other. They should be able to communicate here, right? They can see each other. 91's working 1v1 in this space. 5 is thinking about how can he help. 5 doesn't communicate that at all, and this thrower is able to exploit this. So here we should have 2 defenders, 1, 2, trying to work together to guard this and this. But number 5 poorly communicates it, doesn't ask for any help, and just gets punished by a good thrower. All right, we're going to see it's going to be this defender and this defender working together to switch on this player and this player. So we'll let it roll, and you can see that happen. All right, I think this is a little bit of a funny switch. So as 22 and 4 here, 22 and 4 are working together to switch on 10 and this player here. Pay attention to how proactive 22 is about to be about this switch. Just opens up his body, sees 4. Look at this communication with the point. I think this might be just a matchup switch. I think 22 doesn't want this smoke. I think 22 knows that his defender 4 is a really athletic dude. He should go guard this athletic dude. And 22 is like, let me just pick up this guy. So I think this is just a strategic matchup tactical switch. Let's get the right people on the right people. I think that's pretty smart from 22. We'll let this roll a little bit so that we can start to see the switch develop. So here this is where you can kind of see it. We're looking at this Ring of Fire defender and this Ring of Fire defender. They are trying to switch this player and this player right here. And there's the switch.